There's a bit of a revolution going on in London in the business districts, is that more bikes on the street during rush hour than cars for the first time ever, which is amazing.
It has changed so much over the years. I know when I was a lot younger there wasn't a lot of cycle lanes, but now you've seen cycle lanes everywhere.
It's just become such a cycling friendly city. Before it was places like Holland, Amsterdam and that, and now, I mean, here it's just incredible.
I go everywhere in London on my bike. It is by far the most efficient, cheap and enjoyable way to travel. It's much faster, cheaper than the tube or the bus, and definitely going anywhere by car.
When you hit quiet streets and it's just you and cyclists, it's pretty cool. It's good to see more people on the road.
My colleagues know when I've ridden to work because I'm much more smiley. And they also know when I've come on public transport like the tube or the train, because I'm like, it's not a pleasant experience. I don't want to talk to anyone for at least 20 minutes. Let me have a cup of tea and calm down. But when I'm riding, I'm like, hi everybody, it's going to be a great day. I'm way more upbeat.
So the change that's happened in the City of London is astonishing. Now, City of London, for people who don't know, is really the centre of the financial district. We've seen a 56% increase in cycling in the last 2 years. That's up 70% since, I think, 2017. It's astonishing. If you go down there, you will see bikes everywhere. More bikes than cars, actually, in the morning rush hours and the evening peak. All those cyclists are coming in, using our new and expanding network, coming into London, coming into work, and reducing emissions, making it healthier, making it a better city.
We have more journeys starting and ending in Hackney by bike than any other borough in London. So cycling is huge here. That might be partly because it's very flat, so it's great to cycle, but also we've spent a lot of time, energy and funding, of course, really putting in cycling infrastructure, encouraging cycling, encouraging active travel more generally.
Our council has put in a lot of traffic filters against motor traffic, created a lot of low traffic neighbourhoods, which has really helped with encouraging people to walk and cycle.
One amazing benefit of low traffic neighbourhoods is that basically every street in them becomes a really comfortable, wide cycle route. I think there's a misapprehension often that we need to build cycle lanes, cycle tracks everywhere. And actually, often the solution is a low traffic neighbourhood. You take out the through traffic and you immediately create a really comfortable environment to cycle, like where you can ride together like we are here, side to side.
We don't need a car and we can cycle like pretty much anywhere in Hackney because of the low traffic neighbourhoods.
When there were no bicycle lanes, I've always been more keen on taking like side roads, and I don't mind adding 15 minutes onto my ride if it means it's a more enjoyable ride and less traffic.
Okay, so here we're at the boundary road between two low traffic neighbourhoods. And so what was done here is that you actually have a modal filter on both sides of the road, and you have the boundary road, but a cyclist priority crossing. So what that means is you can be cycling in a low traffic neighborhood, like here, and then you just cross over the boundary road with the crossing, and then you continue on your way. This is a relatively new design where drivers always have to give way or yield to cyclists.
So there'll be some areas where like cars can't cross, but bikes can. And those kind of streets make all the difference.
The majority of the neighborhoods in Hackney are covered with low traffic neighborhoods, and it just makes it a lot easier to get around because we're going through the neighborhoods, we don't have cars overtaking us.
London is changing. I think when I started this job there were about 650,000 daily journeys. Now we're over 1.33 million every single day. And I think one of the key things that's changed is the expansion of the cycle network. We've gone from 90 kilometres of bike lane to 410, I think, at the moment. That's a bigger bike network than there is the tube network.
So between 5:30 and 6:30 is the peak PM flow. It's great to be cycling in numbers.
I think it makes you feel safer, and the cars are more aware of their surroundings when there's more cyclists on the road.
I like the embankment, like along the riverside, because that cycling goes on for miles and miles, and it's really nice.
Firms are actually trying to encourage people to cycle to work. I think because they know that people that cycle to work are much more productive.
There's two things. The first is the political leadership. The Mayor of London has made it a political and economic priority for him to invest in safe cycling. And secondly, what we've seen is that people are shifting the way that they get around. More than 50% of young people use a line bike at least once a week here in London, and what we're seeing is 33% of our users had never cycled before until they tried us. So what we're seeing is that shift.
Lime bicycles have also transformed the way people move around because they're so convenient. You don't have to own a bike, you can just jump onto one. It really has got a lot more people cycling, so that's another bit of the cultural aspect.
If you've got an electric bike, you can definitely do a lot more mileage than you could without it, 100%. And it definitely opens up doors for people who are maybe less mobile.
Riding through the city with everybody is exciting, it's empowering. We've seen a real, shift in the kind of demographics using it, but we're still not at a place where we need to be. We still don't have a 50-50 mode share, male-female. We really need to continue this journey of delivering ambitious, high-quality cycling infrastructure to ensure that we get more vulnerable road users out on their bicycles.
It's that although women make up 51% of London's population, they only make a third of the cycling journeys, and we wanted to know why. So our first report followed a survey of about 1,000 women who all came on a big ride with us. We called it the Freedom Ride, and we ended up with 3 main recommendations. 1, proper segregated cycling infrastructure. Not paint. Paint doesn't protect. We want them to be joined up. There's no point in having a beautiful segregated route that then throws you out into the traffic at the other end, so we want them to be joined up. And the third thing was social safety. When women are on their bikes, they seem to attract a huge amount of gendered abuse by male, usually male car drivers. Close passes, catcalling.
London's great to cycle in, it's really compact, it's an old Victorian city, you can get from one end to the other, but it still has too much motor traffic. It's just, the old Victorian streets are taken up with car parking on both sides of the road, so it's it looks unsightly, and then there's so much motor traffic still around, and drivers who are not considerate.
But we have really led on school streets. So we've got 34 school streets. A school street is a street that is closed to passing through traffic in the beginning of the school day and at the end of the school day. So children and their parents, families can move in that space without stress, without the stress of fast-moving traffic.
The real solution to many, many problems is to limit the use of cars in terms of mental and physical health, joy, cheap transport. The bike is such a silver bullet for so many different things.
The change over the last sort of 5 or 6 years has been very significant. I hardly ever saw any women riders, never mind brown women riders. But now I'm beep beep and ding dinging all the time.
When I started cycling, I thought I was the only Muslim or the only one that had a headscarf cycling around, until I went on social media and found all these different groups, all different type of women on bike. I think, oh wow, okay, so I need to start getting into these groups and meet other women.
I absolutely love it. Feels like safety in numbers. Sometimes to me it feels like we're like a flock of birds or something, or feels really sort of liberating.
You're waiting at the traffic lights or you're cycling to work and there's 4 or 5 people pulling up next to you on a line bike. It really has changed the way people get around. It's changed the city and you can see it, and that's a fun job.
You know what I love the most is when I see kids cycling to school, on roads that parents wouldn't have dreamt of letting their kids go on there. But when you see kids cycling to school or back from school, that gives you such a glow of pride in all the hard work the teams have delivered across London, because that's the future. If kids start that they're cycling around as part of their journey at the early stage, they'll carry on, they'll keep that habit for life. And that means that we've got generations of Londoners embracing the bike and enjoying cycling about.